TradeSquare is Australia's first business-to-business marketplace connecting people, brands and organisations into this diverse ecosystem in a unique global landscape. Through pivoting, transforming and reshaping, Australian businesses have an opportunity to create the model for the future that aligns with the world's needs and leveraging the power of a collaborative approach. Through the TradeSquare podcast, we will bring together dynamic, diverse and thought-provoking leaders from business, government and organisations to have conversations to further enable new thinking for the future. Welcome to TradeSquare. I'm Catherine Vandermeulen, and today we're joined by Erin from MTSC, really talking about how we're going to be enabling Australian regional small business growth through thinking outside the box. How are you, Erin?
I'm good, thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much for having me today.
And so tell us, who is Erin Boutros?
Who is Erin Boutros? Look, I'm still trying to figure that out for myself, to be completely honest. So I'm a 28-year-old living in Melbourne. As you said before, I love thinking outside the box. I'm very passionate about justice and I'm very passionate about helping people reach their full potential. So I guess that's who I am in a nutshell. How that comes out into life has been a shift of different things throughout the years, but at the moment my main focus is on the MTSC movement.
And so tell me what the passion around justice actually means to you.
So for me, when I see someone who is facing a barrier that is outside of their control, I like to find creative ways to help them overcome that barrier. And there's so much pain in the world. Everywhere you look, there's something that's not fair or something that's really unjust. And for me, that really drives me because I hate seeing people face these challenges that they've had no control over. So that's, I guess, where MTSC came in. I saw all these businesses during the bushfires lose all their summer traffic. And I was trying to find a way that we could really help them and really support them without, doing donations or without having to support a charity, because we all know that those type of donations won't necessarily flow through to the people that need it most.
And so thinking more about the world of MTSC, where is it at now? You've obviously just been on the road quite a lot in the last 12 months. Tell us about the kind of now and the future plans of MTSC.
So it's an ever-evolving concept. So originally we launched it as an Instagram account. So me and my co-founder, Elle, we were watching all this devastation occur, and on the news, I'm sure everyone remembers those horrific photos of the animals that, were dying in the fires, and these people that were just so lost and so distraught after losing houses, and people died in the fires. It was horrific. And it was really confronting to see your own country facing a massive crisis. And the other side of it was when you logged into Facebook, there was all these fundraisers going on. I know Celeste Barber did an amazing fundraiser and all these, millions and millions of funds were being generated. However, I've had quite a lot of experience in the non-for-profit world previously, and I know that the people that need the help the most, it often takes the longest for those donations to reach them. And throughout my time in the non-for-profit sector, I noticed that supporting small business was actually the fastest way to support the communities that needed it most. So I contacted my friend Al and we said, what could we do to support these businesses and these communities? And at the time, it was quite unsafe to travel due to the fires and lots of road closures. So we decided, why don't we set up an Instagram and we'll invite our friends and family to grab an MTSC, and as soon as the fires are done and it's safe to travel, we can all just go on a road trip. So we set up the Instagram, and the next day we woke up with around 8,000 followers, and it's just blown up since then.
Wow. And so tell me, how are you seeing Australian small businesses really add value to the world?
There are so many amazing local products in Australia. My mind is blown by the amount of cool, unique, artisan type products that are emerging at the moment. And it's right here on our doorstep. So there's some amazing gins. The wine is fantastic. There are so many cool cafes with these amazing new dishes and, hatted chefs that are making these crazy amazing dinners and everything right here on our doorstep in regional Australia. So you don't actually need to travel the world to experience these amazing things. They're right here. So it's been really encouraging to see all these Australians, let their creative juices flow. And we have these amazing products right here.
And so, thinking about the people behind these organisations,
Mm.
how have you really seen resilience and dynamic and resourceful individuals really play a role in working towards transforming Australian businesses?
I think community is the key. And I guess that's why MTSC has worked so well, because it's suddenly this community of people that, we have the business owners that have been affected by a crisis, whether that be bushfires or more recently COVID. And then we have a community of Australians who are really passionate about helping one another. So we've created this community where people can support businesses that are doing it tough. And what we've noticed is in the regional communities, the community spirit is what keeps them going. If one business is having a really tough time, it's so amazing to see the other local businesses in the area really champion them and get behind them and encourage them and support them however they can, doing shout outs on their own Instagram. Even when we're in towns and we go to one winery and we start talking to the owner, we'll say, hey, is there anywhere else that you can recommend us to go? And they'll tell us their direct competitors, and they'll, talk about how good their wines are and what's amazing at their winery and what we should try there. So it's really amazing to see how everyone supports one another regardless of the competition. It's all about just making it through this really tough time.
And isn't that the power of collaboration? And I think 2020 really shone a light on the idea of collaboration versus competition. And I think that's one thing that we can certainly carry through to 2021.
Absolutely. And you even see these cool little collaborations happening in a product perspective too. For example, I know down in Lakes Entrance in Victoria, there is a garlic farm, and they've now collaborated with a pink salt company, and now they've got this garlic pink salt, which is incredible. So even seeing things like that emerge as a result of 2020 is incredible.
And what's a key thing that you are truly passionate about that you are advocating and championing in regional Australia?
I would say for city folk who are getting out and visiting, there are two things that I really focus on communicating to them. First is you don't have to make a massive purchase to make a difference. It can be as simple as on your road trip, if you're going somewhere, find a little town that's, a little bit off the beaten track, go into a cafe, grab a coffee, grab a vanilla slice, have a chat to the owner and make an effort just to show that you're there to help them and that you care. And even, it's $10 in total to buy that. And for some people who are owning a business in a rural town and they haven't seen people in a couple of days, or, it's quite quiet and they're feeling stressed about how they're going to make it through the next few months, that can make their day. And that in itself can be such a morale booster. And it's such a simple thing, just a coffee and a vanilla slice. So we always say the little purchases make the biggest difference. So don't feel like you have to go out and spend millions of dollars to make a difference. It's actually the little ones that are adding up to make a huge difference. And then the second thing we also say is go off season. So if you can do a midweek trip, that's amazing. If you can do a trip maybe in winter or in autumn when it's not necessarily the peak holiday season, that's when you can also make the biggest difference, because businesses aren't expecting visitors during that time. So when they have traffic suddenly coming through in a quiet season, that really helps them to recoup what was lost last year.
And supporting that journey on the cash flow journey, I'm sure.
That's it, yes.
And so what are some of the hot topics that are really getting lots of airtime at the MTSC office at the moment?
Sustainable tourism is what we're all about at the moment. So just making sure people understand that, even this last summer, even though there were no bushfires and COVID restrictions had kind of lifted, there was a whole lot of problems being faced due to lack of staff. So the whole issues around JobKeeper caused a lot of challenges for regional businesses to actually get enough staff to accommodate what they were allowed in a restaurant or in their accommodation facility. So they've actually not been operating at full capacity just because they've been so understaffed. So they've lost money again. So it's more about filtering through, as I said before, going on a time where it's not necessarily a busy peak season time, going when it's a little bit quieter, because that in itself helps create a sustainable flow of traffic throughout the whole year, and businesses then feel more comfortable about putting on staff full time, or making their next purchase or expanding. At the moment, everyone's feeling a little bit stressed because they've had 2 really tough peak summers. So it's all about making it long-term sustainable, and that will really encourage business owners to feel confident in taking the next steps and getting through the next few months.
And in those conversations that you've been having when you're out on the road, what are some of those pain points that those businesses are really highlighting to you, that not only that you'd be able to support, but also our community and our listeners would also be able to support?
Oh, so again, it's the staff. I think that's the one that's the most prevalent at the moment. Just people feeling really stressed because they couldn't get any staff on for the summer. And then also they feel really stressed because people aren't pre-booking either. So when it's amazing that people are so keen and eager to jump on the road with an MTSC and go and visit. However, it's a new world, unfortunately. As a result of COVID, things have changed, and booking in advance is really important. And just because they're not operating at full capacity, they've had to turn away quite a few people, and that's obviously left a bad taste in the visitor's mouth. So that's a really important thing too, just making sure people know to book in advance and to make sure that they have those, restaurant bookings and those accommodation bookings done, because turning up to a town might have worked in the past, but sadly that's not the case anymore. So just helping to educate everyone about how the world is working these days is a big thing too.
And what are some of the exciting projects that you guys have got in the mix for the future of MTSC?
So we're currently on the road at the moment, and it's been amazing. We've been able to get a whole lot of content for different businesses. So when we go on a trip, not only is it, great to go and meet these people and to experience what they have on offer so we can share it with our audience, but we can get some amazing content too. And that's what we've found with a lot of regional businesses, is that they've never really needed to rely on the online world or on social media to grow or to keep their business alive. Now, because of COVID, everyone's online, and it's so important to have an online presence. So to suddenly transition to this whole new world without having a very familiar knowledge in it all has been daunting for so many people. So even things like getting amazing content or having amazing photos has been a real challenge. So it's been really nice, because we have the equipment and we have the ability to actually get great content. We've been able to go out, document our experience, and provide these small businesses with content that they can also share with their audience, and it can help them grow their online presence too. So that's been really fun. Hopefully we get to do a lot more of that in the coming months. And in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, we will be moving towards being an online media agency. So we'll start publishing our own articles and sharing really great information, all based on businesses and towns that need extra support right now. So rather than just doing a general travel website, ours is really a travel with purpose website. So we'll tell people where to go to make a difference or to make a social impact, rather than just where to go to have a great experience.
I love the notion of traveling with purpose. So thank you, Erin, so much for sharing your world and really your engagement of Australian regional small businesses to really support them on their growth journey and thinking outside of the square.
Thank you so much for having me.
For more information on TradeSquare, head to www.tradesquare.com.au and support Australian business economic recovery and growth with a collaborative approach to the future of business.